Let's get ready to rumble!
So many battlefield scars while driven in plus cars.
A man right there, the Violator.
That's hard. That's hard. I love it.
That's a hard-ass video. Our main man, I'm going to bring him in as the Violator. The most legendary, iconic. I don't know what I don't even know. I don't want to disrespect what he would consider himself. I would just say super fanatic, iconic. I'm going to call him a team member. Our main man, the Violator, joins the show.
Violator!
Wayne, what's up, brother?
Morning, Coach. Morning, Big Smitty. What's up? What's good? What's good?
Hey, I don't think people know, man. They don't even know we're neighbors, damn near, and they don't even know, man. They don't even know. Like some legends just kind of bury themselves in places nobody expect them to be.
We kind of keep it like that. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Hey, man, that video right there that just launched last week for the Raiders, that shit is hard as hell to me, man. But Pete Carroll coming out with the legends and son and father, and they got beast mode, and they use you on there, Lyle Alzado. How'd that come about?
I'm not sure. I just saw it. It came across my Instagram, and I'm just like, whoa. So there's a young kid. I think he goes by Eat the West. And I haven't met him in person, but we've talked, social media wise. But I like the energy that he's putting into it. And I just advise him anytime that he uses my persona, just make sure that it's something positive.
No doubt. Smitty, the Violator came on our show. When I first started the show a couple years ago. And so you could ask as many questions you want, Smitty, because it was fascinating to how he got started. He's been a part of the Raider organizations from the Coliseum in LA, the Coliseum in Oakland, to now in Vegas. So I just wanted to get him on.
Yeah, I know it's an honor to have you on here, man. It's funny, like just being a fan of football and just like seeing you, but never really knowing who like the man was behind all the gear and all that stuff. So just from my own knowledge, can you explain to me what led to you becoming a super fan, I'll say, of the Raiders?
Well, listen, Smitty, as a young kid back in Mississippi, I was always into knights, armors, and like medieval lore. So when I saw this team in silver and black playing the Chiefs, and I always hated the Chiefs anyway, it was love at first sight for me. That one-eyed pirate with two crossed swords, that pricked my heart at a young age. And I told my mom that wherever that team was from was where I was going to go to live. So basically I'm living a childhood dream, and the Violator was just a spirit that was within me my whole life. Didn't know what to call it, didn't have a name for it. I just knew how I felt. So on game days when I do the transformation, put the war paint and all this stuff on, that's showing you how I feel every day inside. And you can't walk around in public like that every day.
Right.
No doubt. Can you walk through the audience? Man, we got almost 4,000 people total in here watching. I got to ask you, can you explain to them what the process is? So let's say the Raiders are in Vegas. They're at home. Death Star is rocking. They play Chiefs. What's the process from going to Southern California to get there, prep yourself, and be ready to go?
Well, my typical game day weekend starts on Friday because I'm in Vegas doing promotional stuff for Modelo. And so I'm working Friday and Saturday just before the game. So, and then Saturday night, we always throw a party. This year it'll be at the Golden Nugget. So anybody that's in town, stop through the Golden Nugget and you'll see us rocking the house. But, so I'm busy, man, for 3 days. So by the time the game gets there, I'm all lathered up. So, and like I say, that process is just like us picking up our tools or a briefcase, getting ready to go to work. That's my mindset.
And how long is the process of putting war paint on, if we'll call it that? How is it? What is that process like? And then, I guess, is it a difficult one now? or is it like game day? You're actually hyped. It's like getting the gear on to go play. How hard is that process? How long does it take to put all that on?
The whole process is about 2 hours. And funny you mentioned that about being hyped. The whole magic is you got to be almost at a meditative state to do it, because I'm doing it myself now. So you know how adrenaline gets, anybody that's been on the field, you know how the butterflies get. So that makes you know that you're ready to go into something and you don't want to go out there half-ass. So the whole thing with me is going into almost a meditative state to do it. Now, that's after 34 years of doing this. It always seems like the first day.
Man, that's great. So you still get butterflies.
Still get butterflies, bro.
That's
like
love.
Day one. That's real love, JB. That's real love.
Keep you young, man.
Let me ask you this thing. Like, let's talk about the team today. How do you feel? You got Pete Carroll leading the way right now. Made some big time moves this all season. Where's your confidence level and where the Raiders are this season?
First of all, I'm happy with the changes. Summer Raider Nation is at wit's end. I know change is hard for a lot of people, but there's pain when there's growth. There's no growth without some discomfort. So let me make that clear. So we're always trying to evolve. And even the move from Oakland to Vegas, it's like it's an end of an era and the beginning of a new era. So there's new ground to plow. So you've got to plow that ground to plant some seeds to get some growth in the future. So that's right now, that's pretty much what we're going through there. As far as the team itself, I think we needed to pivot a little bit to get to the proper coordinates to get to where we want to get. And everybody knows Pete Carroll's record. I've been a fan of his since he coached at SC, longtime SC fan. So when he came there, we saw the program. It had gone through a lull after John Robinson. Pete Carroll brought it back to prominence. And the rest is history. He went into the NFL, with New England and the Jets. Everything, things didn't work out, but he landed where he was supposed to be, which was Seattle. A longtime nemesis of mine, because we bumped heads, man. It was a black and blue division in the AFC West back then. Those were some great games, man, with that Seattle team. They were just as gritty as us. But we used to call them the Buzzards, But respectfully, they were a great organization, and he put them where they need to go. And bringing in Russell Wilson and that team, like I say, they won that Super Bowl. So I'm kind of hoping for the same process. And Pete's, yes, he's up in age, and I hate when people talk about age so much. Age is just a numerical number of your time here. Not how you feel or how this is working. If your facilities are working, the body will follow. So I think this guy, with the talent that we've amassed, and hats off to John Spytek for, I watched what he built in Tampa Bay. This guy knows how to pick players, and that's what he wants, players, football players. And I'm looking to see the bullet come out and right hook somebody this season.
No doubt. Let me ask you, because this more than 34 years of this. So you went from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland to Vegas. What are the fans saying? Like when you're out there, you're in the crowd, you're seeing this. What has been the biggest transition from going to those iconic coliseums to a place that never had really a professional sport in a town that's most entertaining town in the world, possibly in Vegas? I know we talked about it a few years ago, but it's been a transition because what do you say? I think you said last time, is it more corporate now than true fans of the Raiders since they went to Vegas? Or are you seeing a transit? Are you seeing it now becoming, all right, we're getting back to Raider Nation, more of a Raider following? Or is it still, you see a lot of corporate business folks in there that aren't true Raider fans, so to speak, like you?
Let me put it to you like this, Coach. Even when they were in Oakland, they were corporate. That's a business. Now, us as fans, and I'm speaking on my own accord, we have to learn to understand that it is entertainment. Now, I've always called it war. You know how I feel about the game of football. It's war on the field. But it is a business, and it's hard to separate fandom from business, where business has no emotions involved. It's about money and keeping that business moving and keeping that money coming in. You know, everywhere, every city that they've been, it's been corporate, but there was a culture that was there in the last two cities, LA and Oakland. Oakland being Mecca, because that's, to me, that would always be Mecca. That was my childhood, I won't say fantasy, but a dream to be there. So I can remember the first day stomping on the grounds there. It was like, you know, you were at the, you going to a religious summit. That's where it felt to me. So that will always be special to me, and that era will never be again. Fast forward to the transition. Now you're in, like I said, you're in a new ground, new territory, almost like we were outcasts from all of our people, but the strength of the nation is bringing that culture that we all experience with us wherever we go. And that's been the whole thing behind the fan base. We don't care if you play in the back parking lot. We're coming with our A game. And that's what I try to advise, especially the millennials who haven't seen the team win anything. You got to have that faith, and you got to have strong faith and a belief in the Shield. If you're a true fan, you got to believe in that. There are dark days, but the sun always comes out.
Nah, no doubt. You know all things Raiders, so it's fascinating to me to hear the story, man. The transition. Is it easier ride to Vegas? Obviously, it's shorter for us. But did you have to fly to Oakland back when they were in Oakland, or did you drive everywhere?
I'm known as a road warrior, bro. I wanted to be just like John Madden, drive to every game, and that was my trick for the 24 years that they were, you know, in Oakland after leaving Vegas. It was a road trip, and I still do that same thing now, only a shorter distance, but driving to me gets me in that mood, like I'm
that zone, yeah.
I'm going to take over. So that's a whole mindset right there. So the process starts, man, way before the kickoff and the national anthem, man. It's a whole mindset thing.
Hey, I tried to surprise you today, and Greg was unavailable. Good friend of mine, Greg Townsend, who's a legend, obviously, Raider.
Yes.
And he was gonna hop on with you. He loves you to death as well. He said, man, he's been a supporter the whole time. He was gonna hop on. He's been on the show a few times. He was gonna hop on, and I've known Greg forever. He coached with me in Compton College, so he was going to hop on and surprise you, but he couldn't make it. So I just let you know. I wasn't going to tell you. We love surprising cats. We would have his ass come on here and hype you up, man. But he talked about they always looked in the crowd for you. As a player, Smitty, like the players are playing. They're like, Greg told me, he's like, we used to look in the crowd where the Violator was. And what's the other dude name? There's another cat that's always with you that's a known guy, Raider guy that dresses up. What's his name? The white dude, right?
The Hard Time. That was my buddy Hard Time, J.D. Pierce.
Hard Time. Okay.
Hard time and the Violator.
Yes. So we ain't coming there to pass out cookies.
I love it.
Hell yeah. I love that shit. And then the Gorilla Rilla or whatever his name is, right? He's like the new booty.
No, he's not new. You know, Rilla and I have gone back 30 years, man.
Oh,
friendship.
damn.
Yeah. So him and my brother Senor, which I met him. He was in the he was a Marine in the military back in the LA days. So I think he was about 18, 19, and this kid just comes and punches me in the chest, and he thought I was insulted, but that was actually good morning. That's how we used to do it, you know, to see if you're ready. And shout out to Lincoln, man. That was our little game day ritual. He'll come in, you know, they punch. That was the punch in the chest was good morning and I love you. So, you know,
love it.
Us three guys, and I have to mention my buddy Tuzak, you know, that I've also known like 30 plus years. It's a labor of love, man. And anybody else that does it for any other reason, it's gonna show.
What would a Super Bowl win mean to you?
Ooh, 4 rings, baby. 4 rings. I've witnessed 3 of them. Now, being in that 4th one, being in Las Vegas, you know they're going to turn that city up way more than it can be on an average day. You know, they had that last Super Bowl there, and the dreaded Chiefs was in our house. I was there at a party, at a Super Bowl party, but I didn't like that idea at all. But you have to earn the right to defend your turf. So our day is coming. That's what I tell people. Look, you can't be negative because the rest of the world gives us enough of that. You know, you have to like circle the wagons. You know, we call ourselves a family. That's where we have to embrace each other, lock arms, get low, and let's go.
That's a crazy, that's a hell of a, like, that's an intimidating ass crew of cats supporting the team right there. That's hard as shit.
And,
like
that's in Arizona. You see, they stripped all my arm gear off. You know, that's how they love to mess with me. So that lets me know that it's working. The old guy told me that back in the LA days. He says, look, when they start to emulate you and start to ridicule you, you've arrived.
Wait, what do you mean they took your shit off?
You know what I wear on my arms, Coach? Just like what my buddy Tuzak had on, but they're spikes.
And they wouldn't let you wear it there?
They wanted to take the pads off, but it's you know, God had to step in because people get on their high horse and their ego trips, you know, hassling fans. That's what I call it. I'm here to go to a game. You never know me to start no kind of ruckus, no bullshit. I'm there for business, you know, and that's rooting my team to victory. But, you know, on several occasions, I've had to go through this, and the San Diego Chargers was the #1 spot. But I understand why, but it never stops what I'm there to do.
Let me dive into some players. You guys get Pete Carroll. I think he's got a 3-year window for his age. I know Pete a long time. I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 coaches ever, college and pro combined. There's only a few to ever do it. Jimmy Johnson himself to win natties and Super Bowls. So he's in a rarefied group. I think he's going to turn him around faster than people think. I like Ashton Jeanty. I told Smitty I like that pick. I also like Geno going there. I think they made an upgrade. Where are you at with what they've done in the offseason, and how far you think they're away from it being a playoff team? 3 out of these 4 teams made the playoffs last year in the AFC West. They're back to the old school AFC West that you mentioned with Kurt Warner and Dave Craig and that Seattle Seahawks group with Denver and KC. This seems to be an AFC West team with, I believe, the 4 best football coaches in all of football, all in the same division. So this is gonna be a gauntlet now with Harbaugh and him already having that rivalry from college, Stanford SC days, to now rejuvenating that. Where are you at with this particular roster, and how you like the transition, or are they ascending upwards?
I'm loving the roster as we see it on paper today. But here's the deal. It always looks good on paper, personnel-wise, but the true measure is what they do when they put the cleats on and they get on the grass. But my only issue right now, or my only concern, if I was a GM or, you know, any kind of person in the front office, would be that offensive line and our defensive backs. Now, that's just me looking as a fan. But like I say, I've watched this team 55 years now. And that's the weakness. I always look for our weaknesses because that's what any smart opponent will attack. Right now, I see the O-line, but we have to see how it gels. They've got some big bodies there, but they've got to get back to nasty days like when we had the Wisniewskis and the Kennedys, you know, guys like that. And your Henry Lawrences and all those cats, man. They've got to get back to that mindset that it's the pride in that shield that's on their helmet. But other than that, I think we're a couple of years away, to be honest. Now, we're going to surprise some people, I think. And I always say, let them keep sleeping. You don't want to show your whole hand anyway. And I love that they've got back to keeping things close to the vest. That's the old way to wait.
Nah, no doubt. No doubt about it. Smitty?
Come on, Smitty. I know you got something else.
Oh, Smitty having some technical issue. I guess he can't hear. So, Smitty, you got to ask. You could ask the questions if you can't hear us.
No, I'm sorry. My internet a little choppy on my end here, though. let me ask you this, man. I know you're talking about, some of the weaknesses on the team and some of the, areas that the team needs to improve on. I think Geno, for me, is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the game. And I think, having him kind of lead the way with those tight ends that you have, with that running back in the backfield as well. We know it's a tough division. We understand that. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders made a wild card this year. Made year one with Pete Carroll, obviously trying to figure out the culture and rebuild it and make it structured around him. But seeing the Raiders make the playoffs, you think that's realistic?
Like you said, if we can sneak into a wild card, to me, that's the ultimate 180. Going from 4 wins the past season. The last time we were a wild card team, I think you know what happened. We beat the vaunted Washington Redskins, beat the shit out of them. But it's sometimes you let sleeping dogs lie. And I love all of the jargon that comes from, from the outside, as I call it. From the outside, that's outside noise. You hear it, like players say, I don't pay. If you're human, you hear and see all of this shit. It's how you filter it through your daily life and what your plans are. Let them talk. Let them talk. Because like haters do what they're here to do, and that's hate. So, you give them an award for that at the end of the season. But I can say we're about 2 years away realistically, and training camp hasn't started, so they could always pull an ace card and bring a couple of vets in to show these young, talented rookies how to win. But that's when teams not winning, they don't know how to win. Once a team has a taste of winning, it's just rinse and repeat.
Hey, wait, here's the thing. That means 4 teams, because I predict 3 will make it again. They made it last year with a rookie at quarterback in Denver and Bo Nix.
Yes.
Chargers got in. Herbert's got to prove to a lot of people he's worth the money. He's yet to win a playoff game. And even though C.J. Stroud had a down year for him from his rookie year, they still beat the Chargers in round 1 that nobody thought would happen. So this is, again, that means 4 teams would make it. So I'm with you. I think they're a year away, but I think they're going to make strides. I think they win 8 games at least. I don't think people realize that a lot. I think the number's at 6.5.
Yes.
I'm going to put them at 8. I think they win 8 games and shock some people.
Yeah, I would be happy as hell with 8. But I'm going a little bit further, Coach, with my positive mindset. I'm saying 9 wins. And regardless of playoffs or not, you want to see improvements. Now, like I said, back to the millennial fans, we're all frustrated, but they're impatient because they haven't seen enough to make them believe. And when you see improvement, you think about it. You changed all the furniture in the house. You repainted all the rooms. Now you've got to see if it has that homey feel. And from OTAs, we see all of that. But when training camp starts and as the season progresses, injuries are part of it. So that's why you can never count eggs before they hatch.
Nah, no doubt. I love it.
Say that, JB. Never count eggs before they hatch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, man, because they got that division, in my opinion, with the coaching they have in it. It's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be very interesting. Next year, I think they're going to be good. The Chargers got to be one of the teams that people should be worried about. I know there's a Kansas City Chiefs fan in the chat that we have, and he's like, the Chargers are going to be last in the division this year. And I'm like, I don't see that. I think the Chargers could even possibly win the division with Harbaugh in year 2. It's going to be a hard division, man. I'm looking forward to the season with those 4 coaching each other against each other every damn day. Let me ask you something. How did that last year? So the last few years, you've gone through so many different tumultuous years. Let me ask you this. AP gets hired, a friend of mine, played together, grew up together, Compton native. Love AP, but I was like, AP ain't ready to be a head coach. But he took the job and sold the team on him. And that's what part of the head coach's job is. You got to sell what the people, you got to get people to buy what you're selling. That's number one. He did that, in my opinion. I don't know if people in the chat think he got done wrong and all this shit. What was the fans' take on how everything transpired from hiring AP, making it official after he was interim, hiring the dude full time and then firing him just after 1 year. How was that? Is that setting the Raiders back a year, do you think? Or Pete Carroll washes all that away?
Funny you mentioned that. Now, I got a quick story about AP. Now, you know he played with the Giants. I had no idea he was a Raiders fan, but I remember every time the Giants came to Oakland or LA, I was in his face yelling, war crying at it, And so when I met him the first time, I mentioned that to him, kind of apologizing. And he says, all he said was, I heard you every time. So
nice.
Funny thing with players and fans. Now, I've had several players that retired that come back and tell me, man, just the way that you were and that fever pitch that you were at got me locked into my zone. So I tell fans, you got to be a smart fan at the same time. So don't ball too much and end up eating crow. Don't give these guys any ammo. So in Oakland, I would tell them, hey, just stare at them. Don't say shit to them. Just stare at them. They don't know what the hell you're thinking. I've had coaches come up and like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you? But as far as AP's tenure there, he did bring that swag back that we had been missing. It had kind of dissolved. And like I said, I loved his intensity. And he's a leader of men. They showed that. They followed him. They would have run through a wall for him. I think his lack of head coaching experience was a downfall, plus the pressure of winning in Las Vegas. That, to me, was a whole synopsis right there. And who knows what was happening behind the doors. I'm not in the office, so I can't speak on that part. But it was sad that it had to happen, but every time a door closes, another one opens. That's the way I was raised. So that's what you keep your focus on. When Pete Carroll came in, we were all up and lathered up about getting Ben Johnson, and it was Kingsbury. It wasn't meant to be. And you didn't know whether those guys were really locked in on taking the bad news Raiders for real or not, or were they just there for a paycheck? So here comes Pete Carroll. That's like throwing out your ace card when you're playing spades. When I saw that, I was elated. I'm like, wow, this guy knows how to bring guys together, the misfits that we are, and make us a solid unit again. So like I say, there may still be some detractors out there, but let them do just that. I'm saying give this guys 2 years, and you're going to see a glimpse of the old Raiders.
I like it. Hey, more than most.
I'm just telling you, that's what's coming from me. That's what's pumping here. You have to believe, first of all.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I truly do believe, I've heard it from too many players, that the fan base actually drives the players. And that's the end of the day. I don't think fans, like casual fans that aren't a fan of that particular team, I don't think they realize like the energy in the building is a real thing. Like the Chiefs' energy in Arrowhead is a real fucking thing. Seattle's 12th man is a real thing. Like people don't realize that shit matters now.
Yeah, it's real.
You don't want to come in there. Yeah, it's real, man.
I've been in there, man, and you're at odds because you're playing each other, but you marvel at the energy that they bring. And any player knows that you need that extra juice. Those guys behind you is going to give it to you. It's going back to the old way college football is.
Nah, it is. College is becoming pro. It's upside down. Let me ask you, you guys open up, I believe, with the who? Patriots?
Yes.
Patriots. And then you got the Chargers.
Monday night.
This cat knows the schedule, everything. Monday Night Football, that's going to be electric. Is that the first big-time game you're looking forward to?
That is. But I want to win them all. But like I said, it don't matter. New England, you can't go in there thinking that, these guys, we got these guys. No, you got to go in there respecting your opponent, put your big boy pants on, and go hit somebody in the mouth.
Yeah, I like him starting off, man. I think Carroll starts off shocking the world. I think they'll be 2-0. I'm gonna make a future bet. They're gonna be 2-0 to start the season. How many more games they win? Can they get to your 7 more and 9? We'll see. But I think they start 2-0. and I'm gonna bet it. Smitty and I are gonna bet anytime push-ups on it that the Raiders start off 2-0.
There you go. Come on with it. Get them tries up.
Come on with it.
Hey, the last thing I got for you before you get out of here, I appreciate it. The Violator. Who came up with the name? Did you? Who? Somebody else? Why the Violator?
That's a cold name now. It's a cold name.
I kind of came up with the name. I'm going to go back to the 80s when there was a group called Depeche Mode. They had a song called Violator. Now, the song didn't go with the name, but it fit me. And I'm thinking that's what I'm like, because it was like I'm a defensive guy, so I hated anything on the offense. So it was like, you remember the old adage, seek and destroy? That's my mindset.
Love it. So you came up with it off the Depeche Mode. Damn. I bet you don't. Only the old school cats in the chat know who that is. Smitty had no clue. Smitty had no clue who that is. Yeah, he never heard. He never even heard of it. He never even heard. And it's a white boy band. Smitty, you wouldn't know.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Smitty don't know. That's a white boy Depeche Mode. They were like on movies, Smitty, like big time 80s movies and shit. Like they were the soundtrack. I'm saying, you know how the movies had the soundtrack. Depeche Mode was big back in the day. Smitty, you don't know about them because I don't even know.
Before my time.
Yeah, you don't know about anything prior to 2010. So. But it's good. It's all good. It's all good. Violator, man. It's always love, man. Hopefully I see you around town, and we'll have to have a drink. And you know, my whiskey guy created that Woodson there, so I know you promoting it. Look at that.
Looking forward to sharing one of those with you, bro.
Hell yeah. I got to come scoop some up, and I'll bring you some of mine, too. We got to share. We got to share those.
JB, we don't want yours, JB.
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to get that cigar. I'll put that cigar on the back here on the bar. So. All right, Def. Hey, yeah, you got to come over through, man, and see the lounge and have a stick.
Let's do it. Let's hook it up. The off season is the best time, brother.
No doubt. I'll hit you up. We're neighbors anyway. I'll hit you up soon, man. I appreciate you hopping on here.
Hey, my pleasure. Hey, Smitty, nice meeting you, brother.
Nice meeting you too, OG. Have a good one.
Keep an eye on that guy right there, though. Keep an eye on him.
I'm going to watch this, man. I got to. This one is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate you, brother.
Hey, much love, man.
All right, peace.